Do you know what really sucks? Is sitting down to edit your project and realizing that you have gaps in your coverage or shots missing. You need to have a really good, specific, and detailed shot list. Head over to filmmakersecrets.com/shot list, SHOTLIST, to get a killer shot list template along with some training where I show you step by step exactly how to use it. A really fun way to break down the framework of how I approach lighting any sort of set, whether it be exterior or interior in a more controlled environment. These are the steps that I take. Filmmakers have the power to evoke emotion, inspire thought, and drive universal change in this world. Right now, a real seismic shift is happening in the film industry. This is your best chance to join a new filmmaking movement. You have been called to create an everlasting impact with your unmatched, deep desire to tell authentic stories. So how does a filmmaker thrive in an environment that is almost intentionally designed to bring you down? That is the question, and this podcast reveals the answer. What's happening, filmmakers? It's George VK. Welcome to Filmmaker Secrets podcast, episode number 56. Cinematographers don't really light the set, but cast shadows. Anonymous. I'm not sure who said that quote, or even if anyone has said it just like that. But if you think about it, the role of the cinematographer is not necessarily to light and illuminate the whole set. They are creating definition and they're creating contrast and different kinds of, bringing out different details. So it is more about casting shadows with light and creating that contrast and that definition within the frame. So I came up with a really fun abbreviation for the word light, L.I.G.H.T, and we're going to go through it right now. Let's go. L stands for look. So the very first step in lighting a set is to assess the whole lighting situation. So we're going to use our eyes and we're going to look around to see what's happening with the light. What is it doing in the space, right? So if we're outside, we're looking to see the direction of the light, where the sun is in relation to our subjects and our action. And we're going to look to see what pockets of light are happening. What is the natural light already doing, so that we know what kind of artificial light to start bringing in, aka our lighting gear, in order to control and modify that light. So the very first abbreviation of L is look. So we're assessing the situation. What is the light doing right now? I stands for isolate, which means how are we going to control the existing light that is already there? So after we've looked to see what the situation of the lighting is right now, now we're going to isolate, whether that's blacking out the windows, blacking out the whole set to make sure that we're just starting from zero. If we're going to be blocking any natural light, especially if the scene that we're shooting is going to take place throughout the day, we don't want the sun to be moving from point A to point B, completely changing our lighting, right? We don't want to be battling the sun, because that is the most difficult thing that a cinematographer can do, is try and battle the sun, because we can't control the sun as much as we'd like to. So if we're going to isolate the light, we're going to either use black flags or scrims or any kind of modifier to control and zero in on the light that we want to keep, and then take everything else out. So if there's light bulbs that are not the correct color temperature, we're going to unscrew those and screw our own, correct light bulbs with the correct CRI, the color index. And then if there are, fluorescents, we can replace those with our own tube lights like quasars. And if there are screens that are casting light on our actors, we're going to minimize those to make sure that we are really isolating and controlling what the light is doing. Then G for our acronym stands for gear. So now we get to bring in our artificial lighting our lights, our filmmaking toys that we love to play with so much, whether that be HMIs or tungsten, whether that be HMIs or tungsten lights or, tube lights, fluorescent style type of tube lights, or little tiny pockets of light that we can place. There's all kinds of toys that you can use. But the third step, the G, stands for gear. So now we can start crafting our own artificial light to make sure that we're getting the angle correct, that the quality of light is pleasing to the eye, that the color is exactly what we want. What kind of mood are we trying to portray with our lighting and our color choices? So all of those things start to come into play as we are now crafting the image, crafting the look to make it exactly what we want. Now, the H stands for hone in. So now that we've brought in our own artificial lights, we're going to hone in and control and modify those lights. Either we're blocking those lights off of the background so that it's not spilling everywhere and doing things that we don't want it to do, or if we're diffusing the light to where we're making it softer, or we're taking, scrims or any kind of modifiers away to make it a hard light. All of those tools, and grip tools that we use in order to modify the light, whatever the source is coming out, whether it's an HMI or a tungsten or a par hand light, all of those can be modified to do exactly what we need to do. So now we get to really hone in this artificial light to do exactly what we need it to do. And the final step in our 5-step lighting process is the T, which stands for tinker and test. This one is quite fun. So this is where now we've set up our light. We know what we want it to do. We've modified it. And now we place our stand-in into the shot or our actual actor, and we see what that light is doing on their face and to the overall set. So we can make adjustments, we can tweak things, test them, see what it looks like. Maybe we need to swap certain things out, use different modifiers, different scrims, flags. Maybe we notice that there's some spill happening and we need to control that. So this is where we're going to make those adjustments before we actually roll. So let's go through them again. L-I-G-H-T. L stands for look. We're going to assess the situation of the natural light that is already happening. The windows will have light coming in, any sort of screens, any sort of existing lights that are already there. We're going to look and assess the situation. I stands for isolate. So we're going to start to control the light that is already there, either by unscrewing bulbs or blocking out windows that we don't want light spilling from. Any of those things, we're isolating the light that is already there. G is for gear. So we're bringing in our artificial lights now that we have assessed the situation and we have isolated the light that we want to keep and got rid of the light that we don't want to keep. Now we bring in our own lights to cast the shadows that we want to cast. H stands for hone in. So now that we've looked and assessed the situation, we've isolated our light, we brought in our own artificial light, we're going to hone in that light to control it, to modify it, to change its color, to do exactly what we need it to do. And finally, the T stands for tinker and test. So we're going to make adjustments. We're going to notice things that are spilling or we need to be controlled a little more. We're going to tinker, make adjustments, and test until we are happy with the look and overall image of our footage. So there you have it, filmmakers. A really fun way to break down the framework of how I approach lighting any sort of set, whether it be exterior or interior in a more controlled environment. These are the steps that I take: look, isolate, gear, hone in, tinker, and test. I hope that was helpful for you. So please, if you take anything away, remember that whenever you are approaching lighting a scene, you have to be hyper aware and pay a lot of attention to what is happening in your image and to what is happening to the light. the lights that are already there, and the lighting that you actually bring in to artificially enhance the look of your footage. So please go ahead and rate and review the show. Give me a kind 5-star review if that was helpful in any way, and I will catch you on the next one. If you like that, then you are going to love my Cine Racing Challenge. This is a 7-day filmmaking competition where your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to write, shoot, and edit a short 60-second film in just 7 days for your one chance to win with over $10,000 in prizes. So head over to cineracing.com. That's cineracing.com to get registered. Spots are filling up fast and the timer is ticking before the next Cine Racing Challenge launches. So be sure to head over to cineracing.com right now to get registered. I'll see you over there.